And Grumgur's Tavern is back for another installment of the party's adventures, delving into the abyss. Last session, the party managed to make their way out of the layers of hell as Leo, the wizard, teleported everybody out into safety, or so they thought, as Leo cast his spell of plane shift. He forgot a very important requirement to that spell, which was the thought of the location where they wanted to be taken. Because of this little mishap, they were teleported to an area unfamiliar to most of them. It did look familiar. Craston's quote unquote hometown. This is where he spent his mid to late 20s, kind of devoting his life to just taking a quick stroll through the town, seeing what's changed. Traston notices a very familiar face. Longtime friend Emery, who has done a great deal for Traston. Emery kind of tiptoeing around his words a little bit, trying to keep from being suspicious. Being very, very out of the ordinary. Asked Traston and the party to come stay with him at the temple for the night, and the party obliges his quote unquote quest as they are led to. Upon arriving at the temple, Emery leads them to the back of the temple, where the rest of the party noticed about 20 to 40 children eating in a mess hall that Traston didn't recognize. In addition, that Emery has installed onto the temple to safe hold some of the children that are being captured and taken away. Trying to get them to a safe place. Emery knows a little bit of information about what's going on in the city. People hearing, and it's been happening more and more frequently ever since Dolphus, the leader of the city, has been brought into power. With that information, he also notices one of the symbols on the armor that the guards are wearing. It is symbols of the Fourth, as well as cultists coming in and out of the city with the same, being led up to the mansion that Sidolphus lives in, and leading some of the villagers out of the city who have never returned. With this information, Traston and the party decide to do a little bit more investigation, as they're just doing a routine shop around, trying to pick up some rations before trying to storm the mansion, where they were noticed by a Varandor guard, which is completely out of the ordinary since Varandor is on the continent of Isera, near Granasite, which is quite a long trek from where. With Elred being noticed, and with the counter Elred had with Jenkins, the slave owner, so to speak, in Varandor, they have made themselves wanted in the city of Varandor, and with that information, the guard notices Elred and decides to chase after them to capture them and take them back to their leader. With Traston's quick thinking, they dart down a couple alleyways and find an open manhole, and they all clamber down into there, narrowly avoiding being captured by. And that's where we'll begin. So, you guys are currently underneath the city of Landrasil. What would you guys like to do?
I was muted. I just want to look around and see if there's anything, just directions, any which way that would point us to one side of the city to another.
Okay.
Uh, Pretty much it. Anything of interest?
Okay. So, with just kind of looking around a little bit, you're able to tell that this is more so of a kind of like underground tunnel, similar to sewers you've seen in Barandor and the ones you guys explored previously. It's got the cylindrical, or not cylinder. It's got cinder block. That's the word I was looking for. Kind of stacked one on top of another in a very round tunnel shape, carved out pretty meticulously. You do get the slight stench of what you would in the normal sewers back in that you witnessed in Barandor, but nothing else seems to stick out to you.
Want to ask? So at this point, Elred would have asked Tristan why he brought us down here and where we should go. So
Well,
Tristan, so you were the one that told us to come down here. Do you have a plan?
I was just trying to get away from them people chasing us. They weren't after me. They seem to be mostly after you. I'm probably going to try to make my way back to Emery to make sure that they don't go after him next.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not super familiar with the tunnels, but I knew they existed.
Okay. Anna, do you sense anything down here? Any creatures, vampires?
Does Anna sense anything that goes bump in the night?
She does not. It seems to be pretty basic. Not necessarily a. There's not a vampiric presence. There's a definite weird ominous presence, similar to what you felt in your hometown, but it's not necessarily a hostile presence.
So I'm just gonna tell him, no, I don't feel anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Interesting.
Can she see anything?
It is pretty dim. There is a few spots where the light kind of shines through some of the manhole covers, so about every couple hundred feet you see a few lights coming from the holes inside each manhole cover. But nothing really sticking out, so to speak. Seems to be a pretty basic tunnel. And for a layout where you guys are, there's a tunnel leading in front of you, tunnel leading behind you, and it looks like a couple hundred feet ahead you see a kind of like a split off where it kind of goes into a cross path where you got a straight left, right. And that's pretty much your entire view at the moment. Behind you, it looks just like a straight tunnel.
Which way do you think we should go?
Do I see any kind of tracks? Anything that any tracks of any animals or creatures that would be down here?
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Give me 1 second. Like a fool, I did not have my D&DBeyond page pulled up. I believe it's +8, but good.
Is
Everything.
Neptune with us?
Yeah, Neptune is with you.
That is a 25.
25. So, as you kind of feel the walls and kind of run your hand across the ground, not seeing anything that looks totally vicious, you run your hand across the floor and you get like a slight sticky sensation. Kind of slides back and forth a little bit. That's really the only thing you see. You don't see any tracks or any kind of scarring from things possibly fall the walls.
Don't see anything that could be possibly dangerous, at least not from a first glance. I guess we can move forward and just pick a direction, see where it takes us.
Leo starts to speak up a little bit. I'm kind of worried about Primulis. I'm gonna go back and make sure she's safe. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Invisible. And Traston, you said you were going with?
Yeah, I need to make sure the temple is safe.
Okay. You guys kind of see Leo cast Invisible and him and Traston.
As Leo goes to leave, Anna's gonna look at him and say, "If you need us, let us know."
Of course, I'll send a message. As they cast Invisible and start to make their way up, kind of cautiously looking around, making sure the guards aren't nearby. So currently we have Elrid, Neptune, and Anna. Behind you, you have a singular tunnel, and in front of you, you have kind of a... So, which way are you guys going?
Well, Danasi, do you have any option or ideas as to which way we should go? Okay, guess not.
I don't see, like, I don't recognize the area other than where we came in at. And what did Elrid find out when he was searching around?
Nothing was all that interesting.
And
There
this
is a
just
slight aroma, like a slight stink, but nothing like a...
Nothing
could be
alerting.
a sewer system
Right.
of some kind.
It definitely looks like the sewer system that you guys were in Varendor, but nothing seems to stick out. It seems to actually be somewhat clean.
Okay.
Clean, you say?
Cleaner than you would expect a sewer to be. You don't see trash. You don't have that overwhelming stench going through nostrils at every waking second.
Well, making sure nobody else sees the man, like, I would probably help Traston and Leo out of the sewers, or what I would think is a sewer.
Yep.
And make sure nobody else follows back and sees that, and then just shut it. And what's our plan in the first place? Because we got caught.
We don't actually have a plan that I'm aware of. I think that's what we were kind of trying to do now.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't really expect to run into them here. Of all
So
places.
it changes the game plan that we had already. So are we still going to try and get to the upper levels? Or with us being wanted, it's going to be quite harder to get up to those levels.
First, we need to navigate around these sewers. Make sure that we find a safe spot to get out. I think it's still probably safe to try to get to the upper levels, but until we have a better idea of what we're facing down here.
Traveling
Probably.
in darkness is usually good for me.
So,
All right, we need to figure out which way we're going.
Neptune, give me an insight check.
23.
You get a very strong sense of somebody just kind of staring you down.
Somebody staring me down?
That's kind of what it feels like. You feel like someone's got their eyes on you. It doesn't necessarily seem malicious, but it does seem very familiar to you as it's kind of what you used to do to people. It feels like somebody's spying on you.
Okay.
It kind of feels like
With
it's coming
that-
from the tunnel with the 4 crossways.
With that, can I use my eye of detail to get an idea of a perception of a hidden creature or object?
You can go ahead and give me a perception check, yeah.
Okay. Let's try. That would be a 15.
You do sense a
15.
presence.
Okay.
It is some kind of creature, but it doesn't seem aggressive at the moment. It seems to just kind of be sizing you up, trying to figure out what you're about.
Is dim light down here?
Dim to dark, yeah. Depending on the
Alright.
area where the manhole covers are.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my key points to cast darkness on or dark vision on myself.
Okay.
So I can see better. Maybe that'll help make out the person or creature. And
Okay.
I'll cautiously move up towards where I see.
Okay. And are you sharing any of this information? Or you just kind of move on your own?
I kind of give like a look of like raise my hand up to them if they can see as much as I can, like give them the shush sound, or and then point towards me as I move closer. My weapon drawn just in case.
You're still pretty close,
So-
so they do see that.
So as Anna sees him point, she wants to immediately start looking around and see if she can see anything with her dark vision.
Go ahead and just give me a perception check.
Okay. 15?
You didn't really see anything out of the ordinary. Seems to be pretty clean sewers, light aroma, but nothing super overwhelming. Pretty similar to what Elrid sees, but no figures or anything of it.
Anna's just gonna put her hand on her sword, and then she's gonna follow behind Neptune as he starts to walk that way.
Okay.
Trying very hard to be quiet.
Go ahead and Neptune, are you trying to be stealthy? Or are you trying
As
to move
much as
quickly?
I can, but if they already know where I'm at, per se, so I
Yeah.
guess I would try to sneak up on them. But at the moment I see or sense that somebody's booking away from me, I chase after them.
Go ahead and give me stealth checks. To those of you who are trying to be stealthy.
That's a 32.
That is a natural 20, so it is 22.
And
I rolled
Elrid,
an-
are you trying to?
Yeah, I said 6.
Elrid proceeds to beat on his chest as he walks down the hall, Tarzan style.
Where are you guys going? I don't know what.
Okay, so. Give me- But natural 20 on the stealth check. And then a 32. So making your way. You kind of get the sense that the presence is gone as you're making your way up there. You don't know if they've just completely disappeared from view or just the immediate vicinity. But that presence seems to be as you guys get up to that 4 crossway there. Neptune, looking to your left, you see some weird scribblings on the wall. And I will send you a message. It seems to be some kind of anagram of sorts.
Does it look like thieves can't?
Does look like thieves can. Kind of look over it. You notice a couple of letters that are missing this, what looks like a pretty typical sentence. So. The words read to Elred and Anna as the bow quuck fox jump over the lazy dew.
Does Anna have any experience with thieves' cant? Would she recognize that that's kind of what this looks like?
Does not.
Okay.
How about Elred, since he grew up in kind of a rougher area?
You're aware that it exists, you're just not really sure how it's read. You know there's a hidden message just because you've been around people like that all your life, but it wasn't really a forte that you picked up.
Hmm. Does anyone know what this means?
Looks like some type of code.
Yeah, it looks like something thieves used in Varendor.
Too bad thieves couldn't be here to explain it. Guess you could say thieves can't. Hyuk, hyuk,
Hmm.
hyuk.
So what is it when I read it? Or what's the hint I get for reading it?
So looking at the letters that are missing, it looks to
Y'all are
have
haters. That was funny.
4 letters that are missing from that sentence. A G, an N, an I, and an kind of rearranging those letters, you're kind of able to figure out what that word probably is.
So then I note that there's an I, an N, a G, and an R missing. So
And this just seems to be kind of scrawled on the wall. Looks to be lightly cut in, kind of left as a clue for some other individuals who may be traveling through the area.
okay, so what I'm understanding is that if we take, my guess is RING, so ring.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we know of the area that is a ring?
I wonder if the upper level is like a ring.
Technically, yes. It is a very circular city with the 4 different tiers, lowest being the bottom, about a 15-foot hill. Then the
So
second
what you're
level,
saying
15
is
foot.
we've invaded Round Town.
Basically, you think of the children's toy that you just kind of put the rings on in the corresponding sizes. That's kind of what it looks like from a overview or a
Huh.
profile.
I wonder if their water tower is painted like a giant jack-o'-lantern.
Maybe we'll have to take a look.
Little
If they have a
boy
water
county
tower.
humor.
Well,
So
don't-
with this information, we could
Based off your knowledge of thieves' can't, this seems to be a incomplete message. Don't know if this is just one of many clues that have been left, or this is the only clue you'll get. But it does seem incomplete.
like I may have spooked the person.
Possibly.
I guess it's pretty clean down here, even though, or is
Yeah,
there enough dirt and smudge
there doesn't
that
seem to
it could
be-
leave tracks?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be dirty in any way, shape, or form. Somebody's keeping up on this place, and you're not quite sure who.
Hmm.
It is very unusually clean.
With what we know now, the hint with ring, I don't feel like there's enough to this sentence, like it's incomplete. But if we took a guess of the ring,
did
guess
you
we
uh,
just
did you share the hint with the rest of the party?
yes, is what I'm doing now.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm trying to talk to you guys just to talk out.
Gotcha. Couldn't tell. Sorry.
So yeah, well, you're fine. So, what do you guys think with ring being the hint? It feels incomplete. There's not enough. It's like the person tried to give us a hint, but then got spooked off.
I don't know. It's very strange.
Well, I guess the only thing we can really do is try to look for anything down here that might signify that, and then we might be able to figure out the puzzle if we find it.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to go investigate a little bit, see if we can find anything that gives us a clue.
All right, you said this is a forkway?
Yeah,
like
so
it's a dead end going straight,
it's
and then
it's basically a cross path. So where you guys came from the south, so to speak,
Mhm.
probably not the actual proper
Yeah.
cardinal direction, but you got a way right in front of you, a way to your left, a way to your right, center. This
And
engraving was on the left tunnel on the back wall where you guys came from.
to be considered the west wall,
Yeah, so to speak.
and it's a dead end that way, or is it continue on?
Doesn't seem to be. Looking down, it's hard to tell where it ends. You can't. The back wall of this specific tunnel.
Well, with feeling that the person would have had to probably took a beeline that way instead of trying to run across the hallway, we would have saw them, or maybe have seen them. Our better bet is probably to head down the west way. Or do you guys have another idea or plan that?
I mean that might be the best course of action right now. This is going off that he probably was scared off and ran down that way, closer. Now that someone's coming out of that side.
Beforehand, I did feel a presence of a person watching us, so I feel that, but it didn't feel like they were being. It felt like they were being helpful in a way, if you understand my meaning.
By watching us,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had any good experiences with people watching me from the shadows.
Like I said, it didn't feel menacing.
Knowing this information,
Mhm.
would I be able to further investigate for any humanoid tracks, anything that could be around here that might have been well hidden or cleaned up after themselves?
Yeah, you can go ahead and give me a survival check. And to anyone else who wants to look, same thing.
24.
Okay.
You said survival?
Yeah.
That's a 28 because it was a natural 20.
And Neptune, are you gonna roll?
Yeah, I'll roll. Sorry, I was dealing with a mosquito bite.
All good.
Survival,
Yes.
22. Hot dice today. Hot dice.
Okay. Even with the natural 20, there doesn't seem to be anything left of any kind of trace of person or anything even resembling a track at all in this cavern. The more you kind of look through this cavern itself, though, or not cavern, but tunnel, it looks to be progressively getting cleaner as it goes down, almost to where it has a slight shine to it. But no tracks.
It's almost too clean.
Well, it's a sewer. It's definitely too clean.
I look up at the ceiling. Is it also clean?
It looks like somebody took their toothbrush and was just constantly cleaning this thing. Like you
I
can't
don't
even find
feel
a speck
comfortable
of dirt.
being down here.
Okay.
Um,
I want to. So where the tunnel's getting progressively cleaner, I want to start going down that direction.
Okay. And I assume the rest of you will be following.
Yeah, as soon as Anna sees Elred start walking, she's gonna start following him. And then
Okay.
promptly remind him that he doesn't have dark vision, so he should probably let her go first.
My eyes are all the way open. I can kind of see the shapes of things.
Okay. So, continuing forward. Get a couple hundred feet down, you start to see the tunnel take a sudden turn. Doesn't seem to be any other direction. It just kind of turns and veers off to your right-hand side, which would effectively be the north tunnel. Couple hundred more feet, sharp left, and then you guys kind of hit a right turn area where there is a path leading to the right, but right in front of you, you see it's about 50 foot deep where it kind of dead ends out. And it looks to be there's another carving on the wall on this one.
What's the carving indicative of?
It looks to be similar to the last engraving that you guys saw. It's different words, but it does seem to be some kind of anagram or some kind of hidden meaning to it.
It's almost like whoever did this knows I hate puzzles and is just messing with me.
Neptune,
I
are
read it
you?
to find out.
I was gonna say, can you see if there's anything you see in this puzzle, this hint?
Looking at the carving, it looks to say, cease s no acquire.
Ceaseness no acquire.
Seems to be pretty similar to the last one, where there seems to be a few letters missing out of the sentence here. Looks to be a H, an R, an I, a T, and a D. Neptune kind of
Okay.
trying to reassemble these letters into something that has some kind of meaning.
So
You're able to
again,
kind of figure it out.
so now we have another word, being the third. So we have third and ring. And how many levels are there to the city?
There are 3. Or not 3, 4.
4, and we're on the 4th.
You are not. It goes
Oh, we're
other way
not.
around. Starts at 1, 2, 3, 4.
And we are on the 3rd then?
You're on the 2nd.
Oh, we're on the 2nd. So the message could be decrypted that they want us to go to the 3rd. Is it fresh, like they just made, or has it been here a long time?
It looks like it's been here a little bit.
Okay.
Probably a couple months. Not recently carved.
What do you guys think? Think we should try to go to the 3rd ring? Which would be the 3rd level of the city?
I mean, I think we have to try and figure out how to get up there.
It's down. Because we're on the 2nd level.
Right, so wouldn't the 3rd ring be up?
Yes.
Oh, it would be? Oh, I'm sorry. I got it
First-
backwards.
It's equivalent to a building. So, 1st floor, 2nd floor,
Gotcha.
3rd floor, 4th floor.
The way I was understanding it, you said we're already on the 2nd, so I thought we had to go down. Not the other way. Now I understand. So yes, we have to find a way up. At least one more up.
Any ideas?
Does it look like I have any idea of what time it was when we got down here?
You guys ventured out in the morning to go pick up your potions. It was about 8 in the morning when you guys were discovered by the Varendor guard. So it's probably
we
been
got-
15, well, probably a little longer than that. Probably been about an hour since you guys made your way into this underground.
So we can't really wait for night, or we could try, but I don't see you guys wanting to rest in a sewer until then.
Pretty clean sewer.
We've rested worse places. Can't think of any right now, but I'm sure we have.
Elred used to sleep in a sewer.
Oh, it's like, oh.
Thinking about it, we did rest in hell too, so.
There ain't no place we can't sleep.
Even with all the trees around me.
That's true for you. There's literally not a single place that you won't sleep.
There's no trees down here, so I'm safe.
Is there a grate by this clue?
No.
Or are we at a dead end?
This is basically a dead end. The only other path that you see is about 50 feet back where you guys came from, and then there's a tunnel that veers off right. And then the way you came, obviously.
Think we should try going down another tunnel, or think we should... Do we have any, like, just regular cloaks that we all can put on? I have my cloak of flying.
Got the cloaks of the 9.
I don't know if I want to wear that around. Or maybe we should. What do you guys think? Should we impersonate?
Well, if the city's been overrun, it's probably not a bad idea. At least that way we could hide in plain sight.
I'm just thinking that we didn't see many on the 2nd level, did we?
I don't know, did you?
Roll to recall.
Intelligence check.
Just just a regular straight roll. 18.
Great intelligence.
18.
You don't recall seeing cultists specifically, but you did see quite a few guards who bore the symbol of the fourth, kind of like on their shoulder pad.
Do we have the Cloak of the Fourth?
Not that one specifically. Most of yours are the 9.
The fine. I don't feel that these cloaks will work, especially if they've contacted each other knowing that we've been around.
You're probably right. Alright, I say we keep moving.
Maybe there's another hint down the right side. We can get one more clue. Or maybe it might lead upward, we don't know. What do you think, Eldred?
As long as we continuously move, we want to make sure that we don't stay down here too long. We don't know what's actually down here, so finding the next clue, maybe we can check the right
I'll
side
have
and see
to-
if there's something.
I don't know why, but I don't feel comfortable on how clean this sewer looks, if you understand what I'm saying. I can't point it out, but it doesn't feel right.
Cleanliness for my people is a little odd too.
I mean, cleanliness isn't odd, but this is...
It's too clean.
For
Yeah,
a
this-
sewer.
This kind of looks like somebody, like, ran up in here with a toothbrush and just started scrubbing.
Wizards must have a really hard job casting that spell all the time. I guess if you want to lead, I'd just be on the ready just in case, and we'll continue down the right path.
Alright, Anna is going to walk out in front with her sword drawn.
Okay.
And she's just gonna kind of lead the way down this hall to try and see what the F is going on around here.
Maybe there's one more clue we can come up across before we start heading out.
Let's move forward and try to find that clue.
So turning around, then taking the immediate left. Change sides now. You guys go forward a little bit further. Seems to be going straight for quite a while. 400 or 500 feet later. You guys continue to. Bill is seemingly getting cleaner, where it almost feels like you're not even in a sewer. Smell is even gone.
What is even gone?
The smell.
Smell.
Like you don't even get that faint smell of rancid bile. It's just almost like it's a nice fresh spring scent.
Is there still manhole covers above?
Yeah, it seems periodically you see one every 400 or 500 feet.
Is there
Seems
a
to be
ladder?
getting. Not really. You're not seeing many ladders at all. It mostly just seems to be natural lighting coming from those covers. They don't really just seem to serve a purpose. Other than that. Continue a little bit farther forward. You guys come across. Basically, it looks like a sharp left turn, almost like it completely turns back around, but it's more at an angle rather than a straight tunnel. And
Like
on that
angle,
back,
like,
so kind of like a. What's this? 40, not 40. Yeah, about 45, somewhere between 30 and 45 degrees, where it just takes almost a U-turn, but it continues straight in that other direction. So you guys see
Does
the wall
it seem
in
like
front
it
of you.
goes up, or does it just
Seems to still be
turn?
pretty flat. Doesn't seem to
Okay.
have any incline or anything along. But on that wall directly in front of you, see yet another clue. Except for
Okay.
this one seems to be very awkward. Even with Thieves' Cant, you're not able to fully decipher what the hell this is saying. It just says peppers are a weird shape.
Peppers are a weird shape.
Anna's gonna look at it and see if she can't try to figure out what it means.
Go ahead and give me a
While I do that, I'm gonna grab a drink real quick.
18.
Okay. So, recalling on what a pepper is, using them pretty frequently in your culinary adventures, you know, there are a couple different types of pepper. Regular, elongated pepper, and then there's a bell pepper.
And that is all of your pepper knowledge.
That is all of my pepper knowledge.
So peppers are a weird shape. I'll keep that in mind just to memorize it, just in case maybe it comes up later. Now, is there a way out now?
You have the way you guys came, and then you have that very sharp turn, taking you about 38 degrees. Kind of back where you came, but a little more angled. So, which way?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Right.
What is this tiger you speak of?
As you turn right, you hit a wall.
Left, that's what I meant.
And you should watch out for those walls.
Strange. What did the tiger have to do?
It's just a thing.
Oh, okay.
Come to think of it, I'm
Alright.
not 100% sure where that came from. Oh.
So, as you guys take your left turn going down this angled tunnel, starts to get into more exquisite building materials. It doesn't seem to be made of that smooth center. It starts to look like almost a marble. As you guys kind of run your hands along the wall, nothing sticks to it. No dirt, no dust, nothing.
This building, the structure of this area seems to have changed. As we've gone further, it looks more as we've gone royalty like.
Apologies for that. Go ahead, Edward, one more time.
The structure of this area seems to be getting more royalty-like as we go further.
Royalty. You think we're above the noble district here? Or is there a noble district here?
I'm more
I don't
concerned
know.
at above.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. Unless this is some secret tunnel that was meant for them to escape for some reason. I say we keep pressing on. We need to know
Okay.
why.
Fair enough.
Continuing forward a little further. You are kind of at another cross path. Seems to... You guys have a wall in front of you, and to your left and right there seems to be tunnels that immediately turn the same direction about 20 feet after making that initial turn. So it's kind of like an L shape as you guys kind of see that around the corner. And what seems to be kind of engraved into the marble on these walls here just looks to be like a fraction and then noon. So it says 1/4.
That's it?
That's all it says.
So it's another type of hint, or is it just something completely different?
It does look to be a hint, but you're not entirely sure what it means.
So it says 1/4?
Yep, and then noon. The
And
word.
then noon. 1/
15 minutes after noon.
Or 15 minutes before noon.
Those of you trying to just go ahead and give me intelligence check. Alex, you can roll a perception check with your eye for D.
Okay.
21.
14.
I'm smarter.
The perception check is a 7. Sucks not being proficient in perception.
So Anna, with her vast knowledge of time
With my super big brain.
and numbers, another way to write noon is the number 12. Using a basic math concept of multiplication.
Yeah,
where,
definitely not me in real life.
where you have a fraction times by a whole number, you get result. 12/4 is the equivalent to 3. Share this information.
Why, yes, I do. While trying to convey how much smarter I think I am than everyone else.
Anna seemingly putting you two down as she's like, oh, it's just a simple math problem. You guys are dumb. As she
But I wasn't looking
communicates,
at it, was I?
eye for detail check was for.
Oh, okay.
Durr.
Durr.
So you guys
Just
get the
kidding.
result of 3.
3, huh?
Yep.
So 3 could be third as well. And then we have ring. The third ring at 3.
Or just the third ring. There may be another clue.
I guess we press on.
If I.
Anna's-
Tell. Go ahead.
Sorry.
It's fine. Go ahead.
Anna's gonna do her eeny, meeny, miny, mo again and go left first. Unless there's a wall, in which case she will quickly say, I meant to do that, and go right.
And Elrid, something you were going to do?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So, as you take a left turn, then there's an immediate right turn. And as you look about 50 feet further down that way, another right and left turn.
So Anna's gonna go left, 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 right, left. And then look and see if she can find some more clues.
Okay. So, anybody else doing anything here?
There's nothing particular that sticks out, right? No way out.
No way out that you can see. Looking both left and right, you see that looking right, you seem to kind of piece together that tunnel where if you would have made a right turn would have also led you to the same spot, but there's also a great passage looking right, as well as another about in between the two, kind of where you saw the note on the other side. There's another tunnel going, would be your left. So, all in all, you see 3 tunnels that won't take you to from an initial glance.
Trying to recall, what is the human of the 9? What is his number?
The 4th?
The 4th? Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense, he's on the 4th floor.
Valid.
Alright. Thought maybe there was a coincidence with the numbers. Checking down each of the hallways, is there one that's a dead end and one that's not? Or are they both pretty open?
Looking down each of the hallways, you see the same thing. 4 bells, 2 in the front, 2 on the back. They seem to be closer to the walls. But it's dead end, each tunnel.
There's a bell?
There are 4 bells in each tunnel.
There are 4 bells in each tunnel.
Yep. Kind of arranged in a square formation if you were to connect them with a string. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4.
So 4 bells. The hints we got is ring, the 3rd bell, and this is what I'm coming up with, 3 times. But which one would you classify as the 3rd bell?
You don't know? You haven't taken a in-depth look at them. You can just see them from a distance.
Do I notice a presence or anything in the area? Like,
You don't sense anything.
no hidden object or anything, or hidden person?
Nope. Also, what are Elrid and Anna doing during the same time that Neptune is kind of going through each tunnel?
Probably the same thing, looking, trying to figure out if there's any significance to the bells.
Okay.
Yeah, Anna's just kind of looking over everything. She's pretty thoroughly confused.
Okay, everybody go ahead and give me a perception check. As you're kind of passing back and forth through here.
Like, for it.
That's a 10.
That's a 6.
Math, it's hard. 12.
As you guys are kind of looking, trying to figure out what's going on. 3 identical tunnels in a very closed off passage. You notice that on the basically opening up at the top, it's kind of rounded like it's an actual entryway into these. You notice the numbers 1 off of each one of these entrances. Neptune, as you kind of turn around, if you would have paid a little more attention, you'd have noticed it almost immediately. But out of the sheer confusion at what these bells are for, behind you on the opposite wall where you saw the last note, you see, "Be wary, monsters in 3rd tunnel."
Anna's gonna look over at both of them and then wonder which tunnel they're in.
Give me an eye for detail check with your perception, Alex.
$15.
Given on how the rest of the clues were set up, you can imagine that this one is probably the most complex one of them all. Because it does form an actual sentence and a warning at that. But looking closer into it, pulling a few letters out of this sentence, you can get the response of, "We lied."
So they lied. It's just to keep people away.
Or they're lying about the lie.
I mean, it's what I can read from what they're trying to say.
Well, I'm not questioning your reading skill, I'm questioning their intentions.
Oh, I mean, can I incite their words?
Can I tell if they sent this text while they were angry?
Please? Did they send emojis with this?
Go ahead and give me an insight. We'll see.
We're basically back to hieroglyphics at this point.
Frowny face emoji was sent with it. We're screwed.
Double hard eyes.
23.
Okay. So, with how the words are written and kind of the quick, sporadic motions that the letters seem to have, it looks like somebody was trying to write this in fear. But you do catch a couple of the ticks kind of go away as it gets to the end of that. So, you can kind of make your assumption based off of the handwriting technique that they were using, that at the beginning they were trying to make it convincing, but as they got to the end it got less sporadic and more professional with the penmanship.
Okay.
So they were scared at first.
They're portraying that they're scared, or pretending they're scared. Because the handwriting gets better as they get to the end. And if somebody was really scared because there's monsters chasing them, it'd be a whopping mess all the way through. Alright, so I look at the bells.
Okay.
Do they have any engravings or anything on them?
There seems to be a gold-plated number above each one of the bells, going in a clockwise formation, starting with the bottom left one in front of them. Number 1, 2, 3.
So then, with the information that I have, I try to ring the third bell 3 times.
Anybody else doing anything?
Nope, Anna's gonna see the crazy man start ringing bells and get real nervous and grab her sword real tight.
Yep, I'm just gonna have my sword out and ready.
So, ding, ding. You hear basically coming from behind you where that note was written. As Anna and Elrid, still standing in the square hall path, can see the wall start to drop, and behind that wall they see a shadowy figure wearing a mask, a hood covering all of their extremities, facial features, wearing a very dark but yet immaculate leather-ish armor. Seems to be made of some kind of large scales. Main defining piece of figure that they see is it doesn't have a typical humanoid leg structure. It seems to, as it gets down to where the knee would be, it kind of bends backward and then forward, kind of like you would see in a dog or as it just kind of looks down the hall and gestures at you to kind of come forward.
Anna's gonna kind of be a little apprehensive, but she's gonna go forward.
Just keeping an eye out. Since I can't see very well down the sewers, just trying to stay close to Anna.
Anna's gonna whisper to Elred and be like, "This is probably a bad idea."
It's always a bad idea. Or we always tend to do it anyways.
Say we leave the now, see if things get ugly.
He's just a waterman. He's never
Hear
gonna
you.
do. What? His ears are made of water. He can't actually hear us.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
We wouldn't really leave you. You're the DM's brother.
I insight check that.
I roll for deception. Which is
24.
+0.
You can tell when I smile on my face that we're not lying at all.
That is a 5.
So, Anna and Elrid are going to follow Neptune.
Yep. I'm walking towards him. He's gesturing. I don't
Okay.
sense any malice or anything from him.
Same presence that you sensed before.
Okay.
So-
Going with the gut, I guess.
Did you communicate that to us that you were being watched?
Yep.
Well, he didn't actually say the words, so to speak. He just kind of shushed you and then kind of went forward.
Well, I told Elrid when he was. I said that I think there was somebody here watching us and ran off this way. Because they wouldn't have ran out in front of us. Because we could seen them. So, I mean,
I seen it.
yeah.
Okay. So, as you guys start to follow that shadowy figure leading into that hidden passage, you guys encounter a staircase. That figure starts to walk down. Pretty average pace, doesn't seem to be concerned or threatened by you guys, as this staircase goes down for seemingly forever. It's probably 10 minutes and you guys are still continuing down this incline. And after about another 5 minutes or so, you guys are met with kind of like a dead end, but a very immaculate, looks to be hand-carved stone door at the bottom of the staircase with similar marble blocks lining the tunnel as you saw previously.
No light or anything down here, or is it? got torches or something?
It's got a torch every 50 feet or so. Pretty dim.
Okay. How about the look of this person in front of me? Am I detecting more details of their features?
What gets you the most is that leg shape. It just looks very
Just the
unusual.
leg. Nothing else? No other?
The rest of his body seems to be completely covered.
In cloak? Okay.
As you
All
guys
right,
get
then.
down to the bottom of the stairwell here, the individual just kind of knocks on the door in a rhythmic pattern, and the door opens, revealing a group, probably 10 to 15 other individuals, similarly dressed to the person who led you down here. But they have varying shapes and sizes. You think you see an orc over in the corner that's dressed very similarly. You see a gnome, a couple of humans, a few elvish people.
We are elvish.
As they're all just kind of... Seems to be like kind of a tavern environment. Everybody seems to be drinking, having a good time, but they're all dressed in that very unusual looking, yet misleading armor. It seems like they have done some things in their past, but you're not quite sure what. So, as the individual just kind of continues to gesture at you, leading you kind of through another double doorway, kind of like you see those saloon doors that just kind of push open and close on their own. Takes a right turn, kind of goes down what looks to be some housing areas. See lots of doors, lots of people going in and out. Gets down to the end of this hallway where you see this large golden door. And he just kind of shakes his head and gestures at the door.
Anna's gonna whisper and say, "Do you want me to go through the door?"
This seems pretty suspicious.
Seems super sketchy.
What do you
He
think?
hasn't let us. I mean, if it was an ambush, we would have been ambushed back
He
there.
hasn't led us to anything sketchy yet, as we walk down 6 flights of stairs further into the darkness.
No, it wasn't necessarily sketchy. I'm just used to it.
So, he gestures at the door. What do you guys want to do?
Fuck it.
I guess
Anna's
let's
going through.
Start walking through it.
Full steam ahead.
And with that, we'll take a quick break here. Be back in probably about 10 to 15 minutes. And we are back with Grumgur's Tavern. The music you hear is brought to you by tabletopaudio.com. And let us continue as the party was led through these sewer-like structures, which became more and more immaculate as they traveled through. They encountered a very dark figure with almost animal-like legs, leading them down into this hidden alcove of individuals that are all seemingly dressed in a very suspicious fashion. That individual led them to a large golden door deep within that little alcove. As we left off, the party was just entering that room. So, as you guys enter into this very large, almost office-like room, see a very large desk, seems to be made of mahogany, with light red accents, tablecloth, and very intricate embroidering along the edges of the table. You see a half-orc individual. He's got very long, straight, white hair going down almost to his pectoral area. And his skin seems to be a light brown color, and he's got these deep brown eyes. And in the back right corner, Anna, you see someone very familiar to you. You see Andre sitting in the corner wearing that same outfit as the individual who led you to this little area. And then there's a third individual in the back left-hand corner. Seems to be a very mature dragonborn male, copper skin. Seems the scales are pretty smooth in comparison to what you've seen on Tokax, which has a little bit more rugged of a look to him. So, what do you guys want to do as you see this orc individual, half-orc individual, kind of look up from his notes and kind of leans back, crosses his arms, and kind of looks at the individual who led you here and just kind of gestures him to go into the other corner of the room.
Anna's gonna approach her twin brother and say, "What are you doing here?"
I came to find a little more information about something to help fail Dragomir once and for all. As you see, he's kind of pretty
Who's leading
similar.
the kingdom?
We left that to Grigor for now. He seems to be doing a pretty good job. He has a knack for it at the moment. We hadn't heard from you in quite a long time, so put Grigor in charge and I set out on my journey.
Andre, you can't just abandon the kingdom and go gallivanting off.
What choice did I have? Our father is missing. I have no idea where our other brother is.
Anna, isn't that kind of what you did?
No, I left him in charge. He's the first born male heir. Which means I wouldn't have led the throne anyways. Plus, I am like the general there. So like if I go off on a scouting mission, that's just good for business. We'll talk about this later.
Yes.
We need to get to the third ring.
For what?
We're not exactly sure.
Well, we've been separated for a while, but I've gathered a great deal of information here in the Thieves Guild here. That, over there behind the desk, is Simon. He is the leader of this underground faction. He's keeping tabs on everything that's been going on in the city. And then we have Tulvir over in the corner, that dragonborn individual. He has been teaching me some of the tricks of the trade, trying to improve my skill set so we can try to get an army together to push back Dragomir.
Anna's going to kind of bow her head to each one of them.
The orc just kind of turns his head a little bit, just kind of half orc. Simon. And the Tulvir over there just kind of takes his arm up and just kind of gives a quick little bow.
So, do you know this half-orc? That's you? Anna?
Yes. No.
Andre, do you know the half-orc?
Yes, I just told you that's Simon.
Simon.
That's Simon.
And what is his role here?
He is the Thieves Guild leader of Landrasil.
I see. So
Anna's. Sorry.
is it the Thieves Guild that's cleaning up the sewers?
Yes, we like to keep our area nice and tidy.
You can imagine that might draw suspicion to the area, right?
These tunnels were used for noble escapes back in old times. So keeping it clean, not really a big deal. They've been long since forgotten. But
Anna's gonna approach Simon and say, "Have you heard about Granasite?"
Who do you think you are? Walking up to me. Asking me questions.
Anna's gonna kind of look at her brother and say, "Would you like to ask him my question?"
You've got to be a little more graceful than that. He's quite sensitive.
Forgive me, Simon. I didn't mean to approach you without announcing myself. I am Anna of the place that I named, that I forgot the name of. I'm Princess, and I'm his twin sister. I was asking because there's some unrest going on in the land, and I didn't know if your guild had heard anything about it.
We are well aware of everything going on. There are very suspicious individuals coming in and out of the city. Constantly. They bear the cloak of what looks like a number 4. They come and go once every couple of weeks, taking 20 to 100 villagers at a time. We never really see them enter the city, as we just see them leave. But they're ruining our business, because there's less people to acquire goods and services from, if you will.
So, do you have any idea where they're going with these people?
We've sent our scout, Lee, the one that led you here, to kind of follow them around. Lee is very friendly with who you know as Tokax, as they talk time to time. Lee has told me quite a bit of information of what you guys have done in Granasite, which is why I asked him to bring you here.
Anna's gonna look over at her brother and say, "See, so you've heard about where I've been."
I've only recently came here, and within the last month or so. I didn't know Lee had that kind of information. I didn't know Simon had that information either.
Anna's gonna kind of tip her head to Lee respectfully, since they sensitive, and then say, "When is the last time that you spoke to Tokax?"
To kind of unmuffle the sound, Lee just kind of pulls down his face mask, and you see a very cat-like structure. You see the nose, and you see the slight jowls that kind of go up. And the whiskers themselves almost seem to be kind of tied into a handlebar mustache.
He's a putty cat.
I'm a tabaxi. What was your question again?
When was the last time that you spoke to Tokax?
Last I spoke to him was when you guys asked for Tokax to bring a couple of other sorcerer individuals to his tower. So it's probably been about a month. I was actually in the room with you guys, but yeah, never noticed. I was hiding in the shadows.
Interesting. Well, since you guys already know what's going on in Granasite, we've been following. There seems to be a few different cults. As my brother knows, Dragomir wears the symbol of the 2. And then Anna's gonna pull out one of the cloaks of the 9 to show them. And she's going to explain their recent findings. the different groups that they've investigated, as well as the vampires that are running rampant throughout this land, and kind of give them a brief overview of what they've been doing, and then explain why it is that they've come here.
Yes, we were aware of some of them. Not necessarily the locations of where they are, but we do know of the 9 separate cults. We have information in pretty much every major city. People undercover and keeping a watch out, trying to gather what may be going on in the world at the time. We do know of quite a few unusual happenings, especially around Krisana and the continent of Bystrom, and the Minaram Mountains up on Crystalline, near Arcania.
Are you aware of the beholder that is said to be in those mountains?
We do not know the name, nor we do not know the specific location in the mountains, but we do know that they have been going in and out. We've seen individuals of cultish appearance wearing those long cloaks with the symbol of the 6th on their back. As Lee just kind of starts opening up his notebook and showing you all the drawings that he's taken of each of the symbols that he's seen. And it looks like he's seen pretty much all of them, but the Fae, which is the 5th, and the Giants, which are the 8th. And he's got detailed locations as to where he saw them and, what time of the year, what month, what, specific information detailing pretty much everything you would need to try to find out where a base location may be, but he hasn't been successful in actually locating a base.
Have you learned anything about the whereabouts of Dragomir?
What we know is he's in one of the castles on the northeast side of Bystrom. Would be east-northeast of Chrysania.
That's the name. Should probably write that down.
But his forces have been growing exponentially as of late. Recently,
Yes,
within
we've-
the last couple of months, where the
Yes, we've
disappearances
run
here
into
in
quite a few.
Landrasil have gone up tremendously.
Yeah, we've run into quite a few vampires in our travels as of recently.
We think his forces number somewhere in the thousands, and that's just on Bystrom. A lot of them are very immature vampires and pretty much attack anything they see.
They're called newborns.
Yes. But our leader here has came to ask you of a favor.
What is the favor that you want to ask of us?
As you kind of see him go from that slouched position to a kind of upright, hands crossed on the table, looking you dead in the eye. I want you to clear out, Sidolphus, so I can reign here in Landrasil.
And what is in it for us if we do this for you?
I will have my associates here, pointing at Lee and Tulvir, teach you everything they know.
And then what does this knowledge benefit us?
Taking a quick glance at Tulvir, you see a very unique looking weapon strapped upon his back. You've never seen anything remotely close to a weapon resembling this size and shape. It kind of looks like a wooden hilt with a kind of triggering mechanism with a long barrel almost going all the way down to his knees just from his back. Looks to be what would be compared to a modern day rifle.
Okay. And if we decide to do this?
I'll be forever indebted to you, and you guys will have your pick of the middle here in Landrasil. Give you
See.
housing, protection, discounts possibly. We'll see how it goes when I forcibly take office.
And when... How... DM question. How far are we currently from the temple where the kids are being held?
Based on how far you traveled, you're...
Like, is it within the realm that he wants to take over?
It's a part of Landrasil, yes.
Okay, so he would be directly in charge of that area and the land and the laws of this place.
The entire city, yes.
Okay. I have 3 requests.
Okay.
The first one is absolutely non-negotiable. I want slavery to be abolished in your land. I want it to be illegal to buy and sell human beings. And I want the children that are currently being held as slaves and their families to be freed and given money to be able to start a new life where they are not owned.
You need not worry about that. That was already a part of my plan. It's hard to make money doing what we do if the people have no money. We will give them the means to live comfortably, at least to start, and then they will be on their own as to come up with ways to continue that prosperity.
The second thing that I ask, there is a temple.
I am aware. I already know.
How long have you been watching us?
Lee, how long's it been? Well, you see, it's been about 4 months now.
So you already know that Jod is there.
He just nods.
I need your word that those children will be protected no matter what. And that there will be a place for John here in the city should anything ever happen to Tokax. Or any of us.
Yes, that's my plan. I plan to bring Landrasil back to what it once was, prior to Sodolphus taking over.
And the last request. Is my brother here of his own accord and free to leave whenever he chooses? Or is this a for life type of endeavor?
Your brother has came here to gather information as well as train in the art of finesse, so to speak. He admires Lee very much so, and acquires to be like him. He wants to be as stealthy as Lee and as good with a blade.
I could have taught him that.
A little different. Kind of taking a look at you and the large weapon that's on your back. So, do we have a deal?
Is he free to leave whenever he chooses?
Yes. Should he choose to come back and stay, that's on his own accord.
Alright. I need a moment to talk to my party members, preferably without Lee watching.
I can't make that promise. He's always watching.
That is
He's a
very
he's a
disturbing.
tabaxi.
Alright, Anna's gonna turn to Elrid and Neptune and take a few steps away from the rest of the room and ask them, is there anything that either one of you wish for me to request?
You requested the one thing that I cared about, which was John's safety. Everything else is just dealing with the 9.
Making sure the temple was safe is my biggest concern. So I'm fine.
My last request to him is going to be that he helps us to rid the world of all 9 of the groups.
I mean, he's already on board for this and said we have the protection and the city support, if he reigns.
We don't know him. So we have to all agree to this before we make any decision.
Okay, DM knowledge.
Okay.
Did I sense any backstabbiness with my ears of deceit?
I believe that is a perception check.
It's my insight versus.
Yeah, insight check.
I actually have to look it up now.
It's an insight check. Anything lower than a 7 you treat as an 8.
Yeah, well, it's a 19 plus 13.
He
So
didn't
32.
He didn't seem to be lying.
Okay.
There's definitely some underlying motive, and you're not sure what that is.
Doesn't seem
But he's
to be
being
evil
truthful.
in a way.
Not necessarily evil, more so personal gain.
Okay.
Alright, are we in agreement that we will do this?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm okay with these
I mean-
terms.
Neptune?
As I know of, people are being slaughtered and butchered like cows. So yeah, we
Alright.
come up with the whole chain, the circle of life thing. The blood goes to the vampires. Their souls go to the undead, and then they get sacrificed or whatever. I can't remember exactly how they put it.
Lion King didn't deserve that comparison.
I'm just saying. I wasn't putting it that way, but thank you.
Is that their cultist song?
It's
Oh my
that's
goodness.
not even the words.
Simba.
That's the point.
So,
Alright, Anna is going to turn and walk back over. And she's going to say the third thing is that you have to swear that you will help us to defeat all 9 groups. But Dragomir first.
I don't really have the manpower, so to speak, for that. We more so are a information gathering group, and
Let's
lining our pockets
If you
with.
have the city at your disposal, that means you'll have the army. If you have the army, we will need your help.
I don't think you quite understand how far Bystrom is from here.
And
Well,
moving that many resources that far, difficult challenge. We may
Let's
be able to
clarify.
find you a way in, but
I was gonna say, let's clarify. Information is just as good. Having someone that's constantly gathering information on the 9 to help us take them down is very, very useful. So having that at our disposal would be close to the same, and then having maybe a resource or 2 to help us with individual parts when we actually take on different sections of the 9.
I
Would
mean,
those be agreeable terms?
of course, information typically comes at a price. But if you help me with this, it'll be free of charge.
One last question. Well, 2, but we'll start. That weapon on his back, what is that? I've never seen anything like that in Transylvania.
I typically hear him say pew pew when he fires it off. So I'm gonna call it a pew pew.
Would you be willing to train me with this pew pew device?
I can't train you. You gotta talk to Tulvir
So-
over there.
So what's the weapon abbreviated? PP?
PP. I'm gonna trademark that when I take over this city.
Get your PP here.
Yes.
We need to come up with a better name. It can't be a PP. I can't say I'm gonna shoot him with my PP, guys. I can't do it.
As you guys
Sal?
kind of look over at
First of all, I'm
Tulvir,
missing that anatomy.
you guys look over at Tulvir, and he's just got his hand in his face, like, I can't believe you called it the PP.
What
I'm
is
just
it
going by the
called, sir?
abbreviation.
This is a rifle. It's packs a good wallop.
Would you be willing to train me?
If you're teachable, it'll take some time though.
I'm the best fighter in my city.
Just as this conversation.
Don't know about that. Your brother is pretty well off.
He's never beaten me yet.
He might now. You never know.
Maybe you should put it to the test. See how much you've learned compared to what he's learned in the time that you've spent traveling with us.
Well, little brother, are you up for a challenge?
Maybe later. I just eaten.
That's the same excuse you used when we were children.
It's a damn good excuse.
Come on, it'll be fun. You'll be able to see how strong you are.
Some things never change. Alright, when do you need the city cleared?
Obviously sooner rather than later. As soon as you guys can get to it. Obviously, it looks like you may need some work. Possibly some training if you'd like to spend some time with Tulvir and Lee.
I'm ready to train whenever they are.
As you guys kind of walk over to Tulvir, he kind of looks to be kind of half asleep right now, drifting in and out, kind of like in a trance kind of state, as he's pretty much always aware of his surroundings. As you guys take a few steps forward, he kind of opens his eyes a little bit. Yes. Anna, was it?
Yes.
As he kind of reaches his neck, kind of massaging it a little bit, kind of cracks it as he starts to limber up a little bit, getting ready to train, so to speak. You probably want to prepare for this. It won't be easy, and it'll hurt like hell. You've been hit by a speeding bullet, so to speak?
What is a bullet?
You'll find out.
Anna has no second thoughts about this. Mary has so many.
He's got a similar personality to Zaukon. Little more mild-mannered, though. You can definitely tell he's got many jobs, so to speak, under his belt. And probably won't think twice about killing you.
Alright, Anna's gonna kind of stretch, try to get limbered up. Pray
Okay.
that her armor is bullet resistant, whatever that means.
Okay.
Or is just gonna sit back, watch the show?
I didn't watch you guys when you trained, now I have performance anxiety.
I actually was gonna probably go talk to the Tabaxi and see if I can learn more stuff from him, since he's so informative.
as you look over to where Lee was, he's not there. But you hear
Fine.
behind you, "Are you ready?"
Sure.
Wait, was that to me or was that to Alex?
Alex. Okay.
All right.
So, Neptune, you now have the option to completely change your class structure if you would like to just switch it directly to Thief, or change your levels correspondingly to match up to how you want your character to play.
Okay.
So,
I can go thief instead of.
you can adjust your levels accordingly. So you can put more points in the Thief if you take some out of Monk, or you can remove Monk entirely and just go straight into Thief.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and do that while we get to the bullet hell that's about to occur.
All right. I'll look at it.
Just remember, if you kill my character, you still have to live with me.
Told you I'd let you switch subclasses, I didn't say how.
I told you I'd feed you. I didn't say the food was gonna be edible.
So, as Tolvir kind of leads you down this little nook into another kind of hidden area where you see a bunch of these straw, almost humanoid figures just kind of standing on a pole, where he kind of leads you back there, stands as far back, and just kind of gestures and points at the dummy. It's probably about 100, 120 feet away. He's like, "I'm gonna hit that." As you see him take out his rifle, puts the butt of the gun right here on his shoulder, leans down, aims down the sight, and you hear this loud as he pulls the trigger. And as you can't keep up with the ammunition that's being unloaded into this straw dummy, but you definitely see the impact of it. The middle of the dummy no longer exists. Just a solid hole, probably about inches in diameter, just right dead center.
Think your armor can take that?
What's the dummy made of?
Straw.
I have an idea. What if I take my chest plate off, put it on a dummy, you shoot at it, and we find out for certain before you shoot me with it?
You sure you want to lose your armor like that?
Not really, but you seem pretty convinced that my armor can't take a bullet.
Who said bullet?
What else would it have to take?
So, as you're kind of explaining to him the armor idea, he takes that rifle, turns it around, and hands it to you, kind of with the butt and the trigger facing you. And he kind of explains the routine gun safety. Don't point this at people. Don't take this to heavily crowded areas. Don't point unless you have the intent to kill. You know, those basic rule sets.
Okay.
Now do the same thing.
Okay. Anna's gonna pick the gun up and making sure to not point it at him as she turns to put it against her shoulder, lean in, look through the sight, get her eyes on the dummy, and then fire.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack and add your dexterity.
13.
As you take your first aim at this dummy, you seem to miscalculate the recoil that occurs as it just kind of pulls your shoulder completely back and you shoot above the what would be shoulder of this straw dummy and into the hard marble surface behind it. Go again.
Okay. This time when Anna goes to line up her sight, she's going to aim a little bit lower, and she's going to put one foot kind of further back behind her to try and ground herself, so that way when the gun kicks back, she's expecting it and doesn't get, like, knocked off balance.
Okay. Roll
That's
another
a
attack.
20.
Okay. So, with this shot, you manage to hit the dummy this time, anticipating the recoil a little bit better. You didn't quite hit it square in the chest itself. You managed to kind of blow off one of its arms, but you can see the amount of damage this can deal if you even land a body shot, as this weapon has just a very high velocity of a very small object, but that impact is just very destructive. Go again.
Okay, this time, instead of aiming directly at center mass, she's going to aim more for the stomach. That way, if it goes up again, she'll still land somewhere in the chest. And kind of like stiffening her arms and getting a really good grip on the gun. She's going to take a breath, and then as she releases the breath, she's going to squeeze the trigger back.
Okay.
And that's a natural 20. Yeah, buddy. You guys can't see it, but I'm doing my happy dance. Kind of looks like I'm having a stroke.
As you are aiming, thinking you've got the hang of this,
I hate you.
you pull that trigger and realize nothing happens.
Are you kidding me?
I had this planned.
I hate you. It was a natural 20.
I
I
know.
make the bullet wanted style. I bend it through the wall, and it curves back around and hits the target. What happens?
The weapon itself doesn't have any more ammo in it. Tolvir, knowing this, was like, you gotta reload it.
I hate you with every fiber of my being.
You have to reload it after 3 shots, at least this one. Some other ones may be a little more finicky, and you may have to reload it every other shot. But you had the right stance, you had your eyes on the target, you probably would have actually hit it that time.
Anna's gonna ask him how to reload it.
He goes through the process of put the gunpowder here, you gotta do this, you gotta slide the bullet into the chamber, pull back the stock, and he goes through the process with you and actually reloads the gun.
Okay. Anna is going to watch him very carefully. Make sure that she remembers every step. And then she is going to ask him if he's ready for her to try again.
Okay, yeah, it should be good for another couple of shots. Go ahead and give her a go.
Okay, so she's going to point the gun down and then turn to face the target, resuming the exact same stance, getting her eyes locked on the area that she wants to aim for, bracing herself for impact. Take a deep breath and slowly squeeze the trigger as she releases her breath. This isn't a 20, Daryl. I swear to God. 15. I hate you. I wasted a natural 20 on a fucking empty chamber.
So this time, with a little more practice with it, you're getting the hang of that recoil, and this shot seems to fly a little bit straighter than your last ones did. As you've maintained your form, holding steady, and you fire that shot right into the chest of the dummy, and it blows a little bit of a smaller hole in that dummy. And Tolvir kind of looks over and was like, I didn't want you to waste all my gunpowder, so I didn't put as much in this one. But you hit it. You're a quick study.
Thank you.
Yes. Now you probably have to find a weapon of your own. Here's a little rough sketch that I gave to the smith that I had make my weapon. And as you kind of look over that sketch, it is the most childish looking drawing. It's like a square block with a round end to it. It looks like the smith knew a little bit more than Tolvir was able to express through his artistic nature.
Is that all the practice that I get today?
You should be good to go. That's the main thing. You just need to know how to point and shoot that thing. Just, like I said, don't aim it at anybody you don't mean to hurt, and use it only defensively. I wouldn't use it on an unsuspecting individual. And don't carry it around town. Try to hide it. Find it very threatening.
Thank you for your time.
Of course, you're gonna want to go back the way we came, and you'll probably see your little Gith individual. I don't know what his problem is. He just looks angry all the time.
That's just his face. And his personality.
Yes.
And his overall outlook on life. He's a very angry individual.
Could see that.
As he's hearing all this, he's just getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and you can see it on his face.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Did you follow us?
Oh, wait, did
You
you
were-
guys walk away?
Yeah.
Yes.
He had me
Oh.
walk into like a specific room.
I missed that part completely.
Yeah, that's where the training dummies are. So Anna's just curious. She's gonna ask, so how has my brother been doing with his training? Did you teach him how to use a gun as well?
He's not one for guns. He is more fond of daggers. He thinks they make him a little more mobile and a little bit faster on his feet.
Sounds about right. So Anna's gonna turn to leave, and she's gonna kind of bow to him as she turns and walks back out.
He does the same gesture. He puts his hand across his chest and kind of gives a slight bow as you guys are entering back into that office-like area. Where you see Neptune sitting at the desk with Lee on his left, just kind of scratching his head, kind of hurting from all the information he's just been ingesting about the cultish activities that have been occurring throughout the world of Izaric.
Is there
And-
a blacksmith in town?
Not anymore. He's one of the victims that have been taken out of the city.
Oh, so we have to go rescue the blacksmith. Okay.
I don't think you're going to be rescuing him. As in, I think he's dead.
Who's gonna make my gun?
Lee just kind of turns his head. Gun? The pew pew.
Yes, the gun.
Pew pew.
Gun.
The PP.
The PP, that's right. Gets out his book and starts writing down PP.
Okay. So you need us to take the city back for you, but you have no men to help us do so, right?
My men are more of the information gatherers. They aren't that good in a fight. I have a few good ones. Lee is okay in a fight, not very good, so to speak, but he can hold his own.
Well, little brother, are you ready to put your training to the test?
Absolutely not. I am not ready for this. I did not sign up for this. I signed up to rid Dragomir, not this city.
Since when are you one to shy away from a fight?
I just have my priorities in line. I will be attempting to finally free Chrysana of the plague that's been haunting it for many generations.
Don't you think this is the best place to start?
No. I know vampires. They're predictable now. They're not as erratic as some humans who, in life and death situations, will do almost anything to survive, where vampires just typically bite and suck.
In Elvish, she's gonna say to him, I'm disappointed in you.
He gives you a very stern glance. Almost like a, hey, go fuck yourself glance. Doesn't respond. And those of you that understand Elvish understand what she said.
And then she's gonna look at him and say in Elvish, there was a time that you asked for my help, and I did it without question. Glad to see you won't return that favor. And she's gonna turn and walk away from him.
He just kind of shakes his head, like, no. So where are you going?
She's just walking away from him. She's just gonna go sit by Elrid or Neptune or something. Like, she just does not want to look at him right now.
Okay. So, Neptune still kind of going over things with Lee, trying to take down as much information as he can. Elrid, Anna, what are you doing now?
We're gonna go talk to Lee, see if we could get some more information about who we're supposed to kill and how many there are and where they're at.
Okay. So, who are you asking specifically?
Whoever the head guy is.
Simon?
Yeah, that guy.
Half-work? So, you guys kind of approach Simon, asking him that question. So, we've got a way to get into the mansion up on the 4th level. The only thing is pretty heavily guarded. Getting there is not going to be an easy task, and it may cause some complications if you get caught. It's actually a part of these little sewers, so to speak. I wasn't kidding when I said that this was a noble escape route in times of hardship and war. There is a hidden passageway, so to speak, in the mansion that leads directly down here.
So we can
It's
get
been,
directly to the mansion from here,
in theory, yes.
in theory.
Again, it's all dependent on whether or not you get caught. My men, anytime I sent them up there, they've been caught. And like I said before, they're not very good fighters. They are reconnaissance and typically flop when it comes to an actual fight. They talk big, but they don't do well. I think last I heard there were 4 guards stationed there. Seem to be... they're not your general low-ranking soldier. They seem to be probably generals or something of that level. And some of them seem to be inhuman. Hard to say. None of my men have came back alive.
Scouts, so we might fare a better chance if we end up facing any kind of conflict.
What if I had a gun?
Or pew pew, or a PP.
Ah, the PP. You need a PP?
Yes.
What kind of PP?
Something that shoots fast and holds a lot of bullets.
So a big one.
Think this through. There really isn't many that hold a lot of them things you call bullets. Most can only fire 1, 2 rounds, maybe. But I think we've got an old rotted one in the back here. I'll send one of my men to go investigate. As he kind of gestures towards one of the people in the back. He didn't know it was there. And that man walks out the doors there. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me?
Who's our main objective?
Adolphus? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, he's the main guy we have to kill, right? We kill him. How are we supposed to tell you when we're done?
I don't know. I always know.
Oh, right, you have us being watched.
Yes, Lee will be keeping a very close watch.
Yeah, which, how's the training going with Waterman?
He seems to kind of disregard you as he's kind of deep in thought, as he's really trying to take in everything. There's just so much information that Lee has in this very, looks to be small book. It's probably got 300-400 pages, just notes that Lee has taken regarding specific routes, specific cities, specific forests, mountains, regions, size of the footprints, number of the individuals he saw. He does not forget a single detail when he is tracking or keeping details on a group of individuals. And Neptune is hopefully trying to remember all this, but it's just a very large information dump all at once.
Yeah.
And then, as you guys kind of sit there for a couple more minutes, Simon just kind of looks around and he's like,
Where are your other 2? I was told you had 2 more people in your party.
They've gone back to the temple.
Why?
To make sure that everything was safe.
They might be in danger.
What do you mean?
My men have been telling me for a couple of weeks now that they believe Sodofus is catching on to Emery's schemes. Keeping those children safeguarded from their quote-unquote destiny, as he likes to call it. You guys may want to go check on them. These tunnels don't only connect to where you came in. There are many, many other entrances that will lead you here with the right information. As he reaches into one of his desk drawers and pulls out this bronze emblem that seems to be kind of engraved. It's got some recessed areas, but the parts that kind of stick up are in the shape of two daggers crossing over each other, and a face mask up above in between the two daggers, kind of like an emblem there. I'm sure you'll find a use for this, as he kind of slides it over to you guys.
Let's take it. We'll take a closer look at it.
So taking a closer look at it, it's pretty heavy. Probably about a pound, pound and a half of a little emblem that's probably about 2.
You cut out
And he-
some.
It's about 3 inches in height and about 2 inches thick.
Okay.
Just solid bronze. It weighs a pretty good amount for as small as an item as this is.
And he gives you some cryptic message of, this will be your key to a lot of places.
As he's sliding that over. And you pick it up.
Okay.
We need to get to John as quickly as possible.
Yep. So I think I'll look at the group and just be like, I think we should head back as soon as possible.
And Neptune, are you done? Investigation.
I guess. How much did I read up?
You got quite a bit of information. I will share it with you later.
Okay.
Just because there's a lot to go.
Okay.
As Lee just kind of stands up, looking pretty exhausted just from having to explain every little detail of the notes that he's been keeping track of for the past 4 months. Okay, you guys are going where now?
Back to the temple.
Okay. So, as you guys start to make your way out the golden doors, the person that Simon sent on the errand to go try to find a gun of some sort comes back with what looks like a hunting rifle. It's almost completely solid wood with a metal barrel that goes down the center of it, encased by the wood, with the bolt action side of it on the right hand side. Pretty basic type hunting rifle. Is this what you were looking for? As he kind of gestures towards Anna.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
She's gonna
As-
walk over to the guy that trained her with the gun, whose name escapes me, and ask if he has any gunpowder or bullets that he can spare.
As you kind of look at Tolvir, he's just like, he hands you about 16 ounces of gunpowder, so about a pound, and about 30 bullets. They're pretty basic, they're pre-made, but they do seem to be handmade by him, so nothing super special, but you may get a variance in the amount of gunpowder that's in each one. It won't actually affect any damage or anything.
Anna's gonna ask how much gunpowder she needs to put in.
Well, let me see. How much do I put in? As he kind of
Scratches his head.
Doing some Googling real quick, trying to figure out how much gunpowder is actually in a bullet.
Or actually in the cartridge. Da, 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 da.
We'll just say put a lot in it for now. It makes a bigger boom. Just be careful. Just fill up that little cartridge thing. I think that's what that's called. And put the little pokey part on top of it and good to shoot.
Anna's gonna try to hand him some money for the supplies.
How much you trying to hand him?
She's just gonna take out some gold and say, how much do I owe you?
As you reach for your coin pouch, you just see Simon turn and look directly at you, hearing the jingling from the bag.
That's for me, right?
Well, it was for him because he trained me and gave me gunpowder and bullets.
Yes, but I'm his boss. It all comes through me.
That doesn't seem fair.
It's fair.
Anna's gonna look at him like, do I give him the money?
And by looking at him and giving him, the first him I assume is Tolvir, and then Simon.
Yeah, you picked a weird name. I don't remember it. Yeah, Anna's gonna look at Tolvir like, do I give him the money?
Tolvir just dejectedly sighs and just nods.
She's gonna ask him how much she owes.
Or how much you got.
She's gonna give him 2 gold pieces.
I know that's not all in there. You can spare more than 2.
She's gonna give him 1 more.
By the sound of that jangle, there's probably somewhere in the range of 30,000 in that bag.
I'm not giving you 30,000 for a rusted gun and some gunpowder.
How about 1,000?
How about 50?
1,000?
No.
1,000.
I'll give you 50 gold.
Do you know how hard it is to come by gunpowder nowadays? This is a state-of-the-art weapon. Not many have them.
It's rusted. Made of
Only
wood.
slightly.
And looks like it's rotted.
A little bit of wood. It's not rotted.
You literally said it was rotted when you asked them to go fetch it.
No. I just said it wasn't being used.
That's exactly what you said. You said go fetch. I think there might be a rotted gun back there that you can have. That you can have, mind you. You said have, which implies that you were going to give it to me. Offering payment was merely me trying to be polite.
Yes, the gun was free. Ammunition. Not.
The most I'm willing to give you for this is 100 gold.
Persuasion with disadvantage.
Persuasion was she ain't giving him no damn money. 14.
101.
99.
101 and no deal.
She's gonna hand the gunpowder and bullets back.
Over 1 measly gold?
It's the principle.
Fine, we'll sell that at 10 times the price.
Fine.
As Tolvir kind of looks over at you, he kind of slides you a piece of paper. Do you take that piece of paper?
Yes.
Okay. When do you open the piece of paper?
I mean, I'm gonna try to do it without being noticed.
In the room?
No. She's gonna say, which way do we need to go to get back to the temple?
Lee kind of pulls his mask back over his snout and gestures you guys to kind of follow him.
Anna's gonna tip her head to the gunslinger and walk out. And then she's gonna open the letter.
He does his routine bow, hand across his chest, slight bow, as you guys kind of make your way out of the room. As you close the door behind you, you open up the piece of paper, and it's detailed instructions on where you can go procure gunpowder.
Does it mention anything about bullets?
Not specifically. You can assume that if there's gunpowder, there's probably going to be bullets. Or at least the casings for bullets.
Alright. Let's head to the temple.
Okay. Go ahead and add a hunting rifle to your inventory.
Okay.
And change your class. Subclass. So, does anyone else want to do anything before you guys make your way out of this?
Do I need to equip that instead of my crossbow?
Yes, but it doesn't require attunement.
Right.
No.
But I'm saying... Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I don't think Elred's gonna have any other interest in anything else here. He has the information, he has the support. There's none of the people there he wants to learn anything from.
Does Elred know that they could be in danger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, told us about it.
You guys were all standing there when he told me, so I'm assuming that
I was-
everybody heard.
I was getting my head crammed in, so I didn't know for sure if it was in the same room.
Yeah, you guys were all in
Yep.
the same room at that time. So, as you guys exit that room, Anna looking at her piece of paper, following Lee, Neptune, Elrid also following. Lee continues essentially straight forward, looks down this long, winding hallway. This looks to be still a part of the tunnels and the sewers that you guys were traveling initially. The walls are the same, the flooring is spotless. It just looks like they built a hideout inside of the largest space they could find in the most obscure, hard to find location. As you guys continue forward, you see essentially a dead end. In that dead end, you see Lee take out a bronze emblem, similar to the one that Simon gave you, Elrin. As Lee takes it out, he turns it to where the emblem is facing the wall and inserts it into that little pocket. As you hear a click, and you see the wall kind of shift inward as he removes the emblem. And he says, "Come, hurry along."
These are keys of sorts.
As Lee kind of hurriedly runs through that new opening. So, are you guys hurriedly following him, or are you just kind of moseying along?
Yeah, I'm
Right
Hurry
behind
I'm-
him.
along.
matching his pace.
Yep.
I think Anna and Elred are both pretty concerned about John and the other kids' well-being at this point, so if we need to run, we're running.
Okay. So, as you guys continue forward, you encounter about 3 or 4 more of these emblem passages where Lee takes his emblem out, inserts it into that little crevice, door opens, closes pretty quickly. You got maybe 10 seconds to pass through each time. And as you guys are kind of getting through each one, you start to feel the incline that goes up probably about 20-degree incline. It's not very much, but it is leading you up ever so slightly. As you guys are encountered with the old style sewer that you kind of saw previously. Still somewhat clean. There's not nearly as much dirt as you would expect. And Lee kind of peeks over, looks around, and gestures at you guys to keep following as he makes a right turn at a cross pass. As you guys make your turn around that corner, you see him looking up at a manhole cover with a ladder next to it. And he kind of holds his hand up to kind of get you guys to stay still. Are you guys continuing forward?
If he's pointing at the manhole, then I guess we're going through that.
Yep.
Well,
Following along.
he's looking up and holding his hand out like this in your guys' direction.
Oh, if he wants us to stop, then we stop.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're following whatever cue he gives us.
Okay, so as you guys kind of stop and listen in, you hear a lot of footsteps. People almost sound like they're running to a specific spot. Very heavily armored. You can hear the armor rattling as they're hurriedly making their way to wherever it is that they're going. By estimate, you can probably hear 30 to 40 different footsteps all simultaneously as Lee is just kind of holding still, trying not to make any kind of noise. And you hear very familiar voice. Elred, you recognize it as the guard that noticed you and yelled at you.
Turn in the direction I hear the voice.
It's above you.
Look up in the direction I hear the voice.
You can make out the voice through the manhole cover. Hey, everybody come out, or we'll kill you all and burn down your monastery with you.
Anna's gonna shoot Leo, or shoot Elred a look.
The manhole cover's still on.
The manhole cover is still on. You can hear it faintly through the holes.
Does it sound like it's being directed down the manhole, or does it just sound like it's being directed outside of it?
It sounds like it's being directed at somebody else outside it. It sounds like they are close to that cover, probably within 100 feet or so. But he's essentially screaming at the top of his lungs, telling people to come out of a monastery of sorts.
I go over to Lee. Is there any way into the monastery from here, quietly as I can?
As you're explaining your question, I know you're in there, you gith bastard! He kind of whispers, this is the closest entrance to it. Technically, we're behind it right now in a little alleyway. But if we make any wrong move, they will notice us. And judging by their numbers, there's quite a few. It may be safer to stay down here for a minute. Do you share that information with Anna and Elred?
As quietly as I can. Maybe, can I minor illusion text? Like, be quiet.
Technically, yeah. The information that Lee provided Neptune essentially was, there's a lot of people up there, but you are behind the temple in a alleyway. But any noise that you guys make may be heard by any one of the people up there. So, what do you guys want to do?
What do you guys think we should do? We need to get up there as quickly as possible.
The problem is there's a bunch of them on top of the grate as we speak. That'd be like...
No, they're not on the grate. You're in an alleyway. They're in front. So if, for field of view, you're... How to explain this? So
They're
you guys...
in front of the building and we're behind the building.
Basically, yeah. They may notice you or hear something because there's not a lot of other noise going on other than the Varendor guard screaming at the top of his lungs for the Gith to come out.
We have to get up there.
He's looking for me. We need to get up there. I don't want a bunch of people to die for my sake.
We can try to move the manhole cover as quietly as possible.
Elred's gonna start climbing up.
Anna's right
Oh.
behind him.
As soon as he gets to the manhole cover, he's going to listen very carefully, see how close they are to it. And then, sorry, kitty. And then he's going to, if he hears it not directly on it, he's just going to slowly move it and just peek out to see what he sees.
Give me a dexterity check.
Uh, 17.
Okay. So, as you peer outside, lifting the manhole cover ever so slightly, basically with your two fingers, using your head as kind of a prop to avoid making as much noise as possible, you can make out part of the army as you see Traston and Leo with John and Primulus. I had to remember whose name I said. So you see the four of them kind of sneaking their way out the back. But they don't notice you, as this guard is still screaming at the top of his lungs. And that's where we'll pick up next week.
Damn it. Damn you. And your
Every
cliffhangers.
fucking week. Every fucking week.
And your cliffhangers.
You're worse than an episode of General Hospital.
So, Anna switched to Gunslinger. Neptune. Obviously, you said you didn't want to change anything, so everything's good. I will get you the information that you learned from Lee. One thing for Elrid. Give me a perception check with advantage.
Oh. I'm gonna need it. Okay. Well, the first one was a natural 1. The second one was a 12.
You see a weird rainbow glow kind of emanating from Traston's bag, and your sword kind of reacts a little bit. But that's all.
Oh, good.
Just a little note.
Alright.
So, again, audio brought to you by Tabletop Audio. Follow us on Twitter at Grumgurs or at YouTube at Grumgur's Tavern. All of the previous episodes are posted there. Thanks for tuning in, and check again next week. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.